Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy X-Men. Oh, it's actually TMNT Day. That's TMNT Day officially. But today we had an X-Men cartoon. So I posted TMNT art online to celebrate. I'm a big Turtles fan. But today we're going to show some X-Men art that I did. This is the NDA Podcast. I'm Robbie, aka Sketchcraft. And what this is I am working on, right now I'm working on a comic book. Spawn kills every spawn, but I can't stream that because I'll get fired, right? So what I do is while I work on Spawn, I'm gonna stream some old art I did, right? Little speed video. This time it's gonna be a Gambit Copic marker, Gambit. And this years ago I split it up 4 times. So that's gonna play in the background on a loop while I work. But once it goes through about an hour, if I'm still working, it's just gonna keep playing. It's gonna keep playing until I quit, and then we put up a new video. So let's go ahead and flip over to me. I'm going to put on Little Rob here. Here's Little Rob. Look at me. There. And then let's turn on the Copic video. All right. So this is actually the second version of this Gambit that I did. See that right there? That's my first version. Now look at them big chunky legs. I don't like it. So I didn't like the hair. I didn't like this. There's a proportion problem when I did this. So went back, thinned him up, worked on his hair. Then I do another one. And then I printed out my lines in red and purple. So that is what you are seeing there. And then I'm just going to get to work on this on Copic while I get to work here on the old comic book. As always, folks, the algorithms only appreciate your comments and likes. So if you leave a like, if you leave a comment, you're gonna help me out. You're gonna help me out a lot. So feel free to do that. You know what I mean? It's free. Just do that. You just put help Rob right in the comments, and you help Rob. All right. I'll get to it. Help Rob. There you go, Johnny. Right there. Just put that in the comments and you be helping Rob, right? What's up, dude? What's up, my dude? This is all the game we play with these dumb algorithms, right? It's not enough just to do all the work and share it. We gotta play their stupid games too. I am drawing the last complicated page of this issue so I can wrap this up by the end of next week. That is what I am doing right now. Where did I put my... There it is. This particular Gambit piece, I went with like a, what do you call that? Well, with more of like just a pink and purple color scheme. I didn't really do local colors. I don't know why. I just want to do something different. I wanted to do something different when I did this. So you're gonna basically see me working with like 3 or 4 colors, mostly magenta and purple. Oh, Johnny, you're too kind, man. You're too kind. Thank you so much. Johnny just paid for my low carb shake for the week. There's this place down the way that makes a pretty fun low carb shake, but I figured out how to I make it at home, right? But since I reverse engineer it and they're a local company, I still go down there once a week and buy one to support. So appreciate that. Hey, what's up, Brett? Thank you. Yeah, he's gonna have pink hair, so we're gonna have to deal with that one. Just didn't want to draw. I didn't want the piece to be brown. That's how I remember. I don't know. I just didn't want a brown piece. That was the idea at the time. And if you remember, like the coloring in the late 80s, early 90s, sometimes they would do that. They would just do different weird color schemes because they had a limited color palette to work with, you know. I definitely think a lot of comics are too, these days, man, they're colored, you know, too, I don't know, generic's the word I'm thinking, but like, they're like, yeah, you know, that character, Superman's red and blue, so he's always red and blue. They never change it depending on the mood, right? Bit of a shame. If you remember like Gregory Wright's colors back in the day, like he always did awesome palettes. Big fan of Gregory Wright's colors. Also, folks, I got my shop up, shopsketchcraft.com. If you're ever looking to get a print, or if you're interested in picking up my Photoshop brushes, they're in there. Only $10. I know you're like, but Rob, $10. I know, but believe me, it's everything I got. So it's in there. If you're interested to know what I use when I work digitally, there you go. Supporting Rob. But yeah, I had to get a new shop built because I had the Etsy store for years, and then like last year, a really big fan of mine was really generous and dropped like $900. You know, crazy. And Etsy took $360 of that. So I think when everything got set, and it didn't come from them, it came from a fan. So it's not like, you know, they were just like, well, it's the cost of doing business on Etsy now. So after I printed everything up, taxes, shipping, I kept like less than 200. You know, it was tough. It was tough. What's up, Better Pros? What's up? And it says Berserk Boy was fun. He cheated and played easy mode. Gameplay reminds me Which of Sonic as it does Mega. Yeah, I told you somewhere between Sonic and Mega Man. And nah, man, there's. Hey, look, I play games on easy mode. We don't got time to. You know what I mean? We bought a game, we just want to play it. And we're not looking to. We don't really have, however many hours it takes. I play all my games on easy mode. I wouldn't even stress about that. Good, I'm working on the last difficult page on issue 4 of Spawn Kills Every Spawn. Kind of like a X-Men style team shot, but I'm always like, am I pushing this enough? Am I getting enough dynamics out of this? Or am I, Fred says his kid does digital art and sells on Etsy. Yeah, they went up. They went up to 40. They take 40% off the top, and they want to move to paying for subscriptions. You're gonna have to subscribe to use Etsy. We're working on that model too. So I just deleted it and built my own store. I mean, the page is up. I just took all the prints and stuff out. Because I have all my reviews there, so I'm like, look, if you want to know what my reviews are like, here they are. Other than that, pop quiz. What character inspired Gambit? I don't know, man. Jan Michael Vincent. You're. Don't even know who that is. John Malkovich from Dangerous Liaison. Okay. King of accents, John Malcolm. I watch Rounders at least. I leave it on while I sleep. Just once a month. Eddie KGB. This is what kind of work is out there for digital artists. I suggest they take graphic art classes. Resume, maybe they can make a living in this. Brett, these days, you know, I couldn't tell you, honestly, like, who knows what it's gonna be 5 years from now, you know? I mean, I started out doing my full-time work in graphic design, and these days, if you put graphic designer on, they think you're a web designer. So, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah, Chris Claremont loves them accents. I don't mind the accents. Some people get offended by them, but I'm like, I don't care. You know, everyone has an accent. American have accents. Everyone has accents. It depends on the spirit it's done in, you know. Hey, thank you, Brett. Lemon character moving his head from left to right with Mal weapon. Okay, it's describing. It's describing the sticker, Brett. That's brilliant. Thank you, Brett. Thank you very much. I don't know if I had to, you know, if I knew what I knew now and I had to start now. I would just probably go into the Air Force, something non-combat, and sit there for 20 years and just do whatever art I wanted to do. Make my own comics, make my own, you know, traditional art. And then, you know, work on a retirement fund, and then when I get out in 20 years, do my own books and stuff. What I would do. I joined the Army instead of 98 because there was a hiring freeze in the Air Force. And, got injured because the Army sucks. You know? When it's come to art, man, I've always just tried, you know, my plan was just to keep busy and do what I wanted to do. So it's really hard, you know? Brett says, yeah, I don't think my kid wants to do it. We'd rather digital art comics. Well, comics is it's a speed game, and it's not, you know, it's very rarely is it, you know, something you can do full time unless you live somewhere where the dollar goes a long way, or you have someone else to help pick up the pace financially. You know, I've managed to save a lot of my money on bigger projects, like save a lot of crash money so I can do a Spawn book for, you know, for a while. And even though it doesn't pay anywhere near what games paid, it has allowed me to do a project that will have my name on it. You know, is more central. They do fan art and so on. Yeah, well, like I told you, for me, you can do fan art anywhere. So, but for your kid, man, they gotta follow. At the end of the day, man, you gotta follow what you're willing to suffer for, you know. But eventually, you need a dental plan. You know, comics is not doing that. Do I have my own? Well, do I have my own story ideas, my own characters? Oh yeah, man, I got tons of. I got all sorts of documents written up, scripts. You know, it's just right now it's been like hard to go. I couldn't go to Kickstarter with any of them because Josh stole that money. You know, and like really wasn't a place I could go to Kickstarter to pitch anything. So. I think now the kind of stuff I want to do on my own, I want to do the kind of comics that kind of can't get published in mainstream. So, you know, I'll give that a go when this is all done, for certain. Ernest says, that's good, man. Thanks, Ernest. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Cameron says, whoa, just found you again. I'm watching for template. Oh, thank you, Cameron. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Johnny says, it's interesting you say that. I know it's Canadian Armed Forces, and you know 2 retired vets already have pension and they're doing their own. Right. That's what I would have done, man. Honestly, if I could go back, I would have done everything I could to join to emigrate to Canada and join their military. You know, not a fan of this country, but I gotta deal with what I gotta deal with. Yeah. But you know, Brett, your kid's probably way faster at drawing than me. But probably comics is a thing. Just try to work on getting good, then work on getting fast, you know? It's always the way to do it. You try to get fast first, you're going to just start shortcutting a lot of things that aren't going to help you in the long run, you know? Cameron says, starting my coloring journey, seeing your early watercolor Hulk work. Oh, so awesome. I got the Hulk that I did. We're probably talking about the one 2013, but I do have speed videos of those. I can get those going. I'm going to definitely put up the Saucy Hulk that I did back in 2017. We'll stream that in another day or so. Will says, I was born in 79. I was born in 78. 78. 78. Hey, I know, right? We're at the tail end there, the 70s. Fred says, I just started streaming on Twitch the past month to show my drawings in pencil, chalk, and ink. Keeps me creating regular. Oh, that's dope, dude. That's dope. Brett, is it under your name or yeah? Let me know what it is. I'll follow you on Twitch, dude. I'm streaming there now. We're doing the whole multi-stream thing right now, so for certain. And it says, I can't do that. I hate people watching. Cameron says, Gambit's live action will be interesting. Wonder who will play him. Yeah, I mean, I'm as interested in what they're going to do with the live action X-Men as anybody else, man. You know, come in the next phase. My hope is, I'm glad they didn't do it in Phase 4 when they got all those mandates to make a bunch of stuff. We can just kind of get, you know, get back to making universally loved MCU projects. That's my hope. That's my hope. I always tell you, it's like, hey man, look, I enjoyed Batman Forever when it came out, even though, you know, Two-Face, I really didn't like Two-Face, but like, hey, it's fun, right? But you know, let's not do that again. No, I don't think that, you know, that was the direction for Batman, but it was, you know, I'm glad it exists. But there you go, you know. Morgan dropping Taylor Kitsch. Come on, bro. The old John Carter. No, they should just get John Malkovich, right? And the agent. How about that? Well, says most forget he was already Hitch when was already in a live action, sort of. Yeah, you're talking about X-Men Origins. Yeah. wasn't great. That set. Remember in the opening of that movie when the little young Wolverine does that Miss Piggy run with his claws? He goes, "This is a Muppet run." Not good. Not their finest moment then. And Will says, "Very forgettable." Yeah, that's being kind. Yeah. Johnny says, "Have you seen that video of young Vin Diesel doing a promo for Street Shark toys?" Oh yeah, definitely. I think they should have all the actors in the MCU do Toy Fair commercials in the same 90s style for all their X-Men Legends, Marvel Legends figures. Real cheesy, the whole bit, you know? Sell the toys. Tony says, "New Street Shark toys coming out for the 30th anniversary. I want Vin to be so." They should have one of those pull strings, right? Like the old, where you squeeze them and it says some Vin Diesel stuff, like, you know, Street Sharks for family. I just wish more companies made, you know, they'd spend the money and make more of those Konami style brawlers, you know? I just think there's a lot of room for that kind of stuff. Multiplayer. You know, and they're pretty affordable to make. Like actual 2D, you know, or hand-drawn ones. Not 3D. Ron Cash says, I love all fighting games. Character cross. I'm with you. I'm with you. I do. I'm not saying I prefer. If it's going to be 3D, I prefer Arc System Works. You know, I like the Arc System Works cell shaded with limited frames. You know, I just like the snappiness of it. You know, I'd love to see Arc System Works do a Marvel vs. Capcom 4. Ron says, yeah, Arc System Works has amazing characters. Yeah, and their animation execution and you know, their backgrounds and their stage design has gotten phenomenal. You know, like they know how to capture that 90s 2D but to the next level in 3D, you know. So like I don't think anyone's doing it better than them, period. You know, and it snaps, like it's got the speed, doesn't have that floaty feel, you know. Not a big fan of the floaty 3D feel, right? Says, I've been very nostalgic about the old Super Nintendo Star Wars originally trilogy series. Yes, very good. Very good series. I've been saying forever on the Star Wars show that we do that they should be doing Super Star Wars games for all their stuff. Mandalorian, Super Star Wars, the movies, you know. Games that aren't based in continuity, that are just fun. They can do them in pixels. They could hand draw them and animate them in spine, like way. Either way, not picky. Johnny says, I wish Street Fighter 6 went in that direction, look more like Alpha. But today, as good as Street Fighter 6 is, I don't care that Chun-Li is so detailed. Her bangs actually lead to hair follicles. Yeah, I'm with you. And I got a friend who loves the game, and I'm like, it would look better if Arc System Works had done this. These poses I'm working on are not going fast. This is going to be a slow day. Will says, yes, that would be amazing. Super Nintendo graphic for the prequels and sequels would be cool. Really do believe they are going to go VR with everything, especially with Disney Omni treadmill. And man, look, I love VR, but it's not going to work out the way they want. People just want to sit down and play a game. They don't always want to be immersed in a 360-degree blah 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 blah. So I don't know about all that. Ron Cash says, I would pay good money to play a Marvel vs. DC 2D fighting game based off 90s cartoons. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, they've been doing it on Mugen. Fans have been doing that forever, but I'm definitely with you. Louis Dev over on Twitch says, what's up? What's up, Louis? Currently working on spawn kills every spawn, while back here, you're seeing me color up a Gambit I did a while back. Will says he doesn't think he's endorsing, just reading the writing on the wall. Yeah, I hear you. But, I mean, they're just not making... I just don't see how that's going to work out. I don't see that working out. The sales aren't there. The engagement isn't there. You know. They're just saying things to, like, make their shareholders happy, but... I don't see that. Louis Dev says your art is epic, man. Love it. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try. Hey, look at that. One of the few times I use a straight edge right there. One of the few times. These days I just wouldn't do it. Oh, maybe for the bow stuff. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I would. Louis says he's dabbled in portraits. It's hard enough. Yeah. I do my own caricatures here and there, like, you know, but not like carnival style caricatures, because I can't draw a head in 6 minutes that's worth looking at. So definitely more fun when you have a photo and you're just playing around than it is like, how do you make all this foreshortening work on imaginary characters with weird shapes? A very good question. Louis says, I have seen some guys at festivals that can draw those things up quick. They have a special. Yeah, most definitely. I did it when I was younger but I never enjoyed it. I've timed myself recently, but I'm like, I just find better shapes when I can take my time. I'm not a huge fan of that carnival caricature look. Although in recent years, I've seen more of them branch out into actual cartooning, you know, and I think people who grew up with cartoons, younger folks, you know, like they're more into it. So that's heartening to see. But yeah, I can't, you know, you got to be able to do like 12 to 15 heads an hour. Not happening with me. Not happening with Rob. Who says that's what me and my grandparents do for a living, is setting up festivals, and I have seen some very talented people. Oh yeah, no doubt. Johnny says, last month I saw the best caricature art ever. My friend and her husband did a caricature at Universal, but the artist was crushing on her husband. He sent it and she stuck on one side. Hilarious. Louis says, I'm actually fixing to be on college, so I won't be doing festival much anymore, but I am currently trying to decide whether I want to take the software engineer route or the IT tech. Do not know. I always say whatever's going to give you a bigger overview of the entire process versus specialization. Because specialization, by the time you get out of college, may not even be there. Right? So whatever gives you a more well-rounded experience, I think is a little better. That's my 2 cents. Johnny says, artist actually didn't notice Claudians. Funny. Yeah, it's a struggle, right, Louis? It's a struggle. Combine courses. Yeah. Gold Morgan says, how does Gambit rank in your favorite X-Men pantheon? Hey, you know what? Even though I started reading the X-Men in the 80s, it's that 90s X-Men Jim Lee, team that I prefer the most, So, yeah, he's up there. I like him. That trench coat. And he adds conflict, right? Like, you always want characters that are like, they're on your side, but they're kind of, also causing trouble. He definitely is one of those kinds of dudes. They could have done more heist stories with him back in the day. I would have been definitely down for that. I'm like an Ocean's 11 dude, so like Ocean's 11 the Rounder. So I guess I like Gambit pretty good. He's like both, right? Louis says he just looked at my prints. Oh, thank you. I like how your art's very colorful. Me personally, I like bright, vibrant art. Yeah. I'm a color dude. I have that synesthesia or whatever. Like, I see words and numbers in color. I have a real hard time remembering names because I just see like the color combination. Well, when you have a group of characters and you got a group of characters, like a team, and they all got capes, how do you make them all stand out without the capes getting in the way? How do you do that? It's a good question. Very good question. Johnny says, did you regularly get weird requests for help from family and friends after you left the studio environment? So many people assumed I didn't work at all when I wasn't actually traveling to cons. Well, I'm adopted. My adopted father's family, they were never close, so no on that end. And even my biological family, which I kept in touch with, not really. Every now and then they need help with the photos or something, but no, I don't get too much of that. Also, I think I have real, like, intimidating eyebrows, so they're afraid to ask me for things. I get out of a lot of it because I give them the, give them the Bert face, and they go away. Ron Cash asks, I've recently developed my own characters, but my drawings suck. You do a redraw for a price. Sorry, buddy, not doing any work like that. Don't don't really take on any OCs or anything like that, or character design work, unless it's for like a major company. So it's just kind of opens me up to legal troubles. You know what I mean? Not that you would do it, but it's just, unless there's, you know, a real company behind it, I don't design characters for people. Apologies. I knew this was going to be a hard page. I knew this was going to be a hard page. Page 18, issue 4. When you get there, you'll see what I mean. When it happens, when it finally comes out, you'll see what I mean. Write that one down. That was a toughie. Maybe it'd be easier if I didn't care and I just drew whatever, but you know, I got that whole like Karen thing. Karen. Not Karen, caring. I'm so careful these days. Rob's a Karen. Like, yeah, well, no, but I, you know, set myself up for that one, didn't I? But you know, Ron, I wasn't so good at drawing 20 years ago. But I was still designing my own characters. I just picked an art style I thought I could design easier in, so I started with Bruce Timm. Now, I couldn't draw as good as Bruce Timm, but that was something that I felt I could at least get the idea down, you know? If I couldn't do that, I would have gone in like Garfield. You know? Well, Garfield, well, I would have just picked something, you know, more doable. Yeah, well, I don't mean this piece. I mean what I'm working on here on the desk. Thank you. Ron says, I designed them myself. Maybe they're drawing a better style. I don't know. I hear you. I hear you. Code. I understand the struggle. I'm constantly always struggling with my own design. Always struggling. Also, learning a style is one thing. How does one become better at coloring? Well, one, you got to understand there's a color pyramid. The color pyramid works like this: values at the top, saturations in the middle, and hues at the bottom. So you kind of got to know your values first, and then colors each have their own value. Saturation, right? If everything's saturated, you got a problem. Values, and then your level of saturation, and then color harmony. You know, learning how to work in complementary color schemes, split complementary color schemes, and starting with less colors. You know, starting with less colors. I mean, I picked up a lot of stuff when I did t-shirts. I did t-shirts for so long. You know, especially when I started, they still did all the t-shirts on silk screens, so you had to be very picky about the kinds of colors you use. But very quickly, everything having its own local color, being like Superman has like 16 colors, can't do it. Got to figure out how to do it in 6. Here I knew he had that pink chest plate, and so I went down the color wheel rather than across from it, right? So I slid down. I got a video wheel in my art tips that kind of walks through how to pick colors. That might help you a little bit. It's very quick. It's like 15-20 minutes, you know, just some roundabout advices. But I also recommend picking up some kind of traditional media to practice in, because you're going to quickly find that not every color exists, you know? So, especially with like color pencil and watercolor, like color pencil, like they're transparent, so you have to like, if I want like a warm red, no color pencil really does it. I need to put yellow and orange underneath and then put red on top. Or yellow underneath, or an orange yellow underneath, and then red on top. If I need a cooler one, then I can go to pink, you know, like a pink, or even a magenta, and then the red. So that's what you see. I'm doing the purple like on top of the magenta there, because I put purple in his little blasts, you know, to harmonize it. So. Technically like a 4 to 6 color piece. Like I always start with a mood, you know, like a mood I'm trying to achieve. Like I'll write down an emotion when it comes to color. Color to me is very emotive. So I'll put down, you know, in this place I was just putting down energy. Like I wanted his energy. So his energy, whenever he charged things, they go to pink, you know. So like you can see the first one I did on the left, that was me trying to do all the colors, and I was like, what did I do? It's a clusterfuck. So forgot my own rules. Went all local color. Got rid of it. Well, says I started exploring spray paint art with VR to save on wasty materials. Found out quick I do jack about. It's also like beyond wasting money on materials. Like color in RGB space does not work the same as color in the traditional sense. There are similar rules, but there's also a lot of colors aren't reproducible that are out in the real world, like digitally, and vice versa. So it's like, of course, if you understand value, Which is why, like, when you see my color pencil pieces, I always do like a red shade, you know, to figure out the lighting, you know. I'll do that first, and then do the color pencil over that. Eventually you can shorthand it once you kind of know what you're doing, but I still prefer. Ah, you're very kind, Ron. Really don't like the first one. You know, not just for the colors. I didn't like the shapes. Even now, I would push these shapes way further. You know, like, yeah, too chunky, too fat feet. Don't know what's going on that day. Don't know what's going on that day. Happens. Will says, come to think of it, your style translates well to the physics of a spray can. Probably. Do a pose and then you realize you drew a character's curve the image. Drawing stuff. Okay. Yeah, you can see the red shade right there. And now it's gonna loop. That's that. Will says, although I wouldn't say you were inspired graffiti, your style is definitely reminiscent. Yeah, I get that a lot. I get that. I'm not really graffiti artist. I think I just always try to apply that graphic, shape design, which, yeah. Versus house figure style. I don't know what you call it. I mean, I've done some generic stuff in the past. I've just kept pushing to get away from it, you know? Like, I did a pic a while back of like the Power Rangers where I show oh, later, Will. But like I put the power, I did this Red Ranger and I put it on the left and I put the new one on the right. You kind of see what I mean by pushing shapes, you know. I also try to keep angles in the art, you know, which not very muscular like, but I try to keep the angles up. Not too angular, but enough to give it some punch. Some Hawaiian punch. Especially like when I work now. Now I'm like, okay, what do I know would never get approved if I were hired to do this? You know? And I make that. I make that version. The version that would never get approved. What do I focus on there? All right, bye, Ron. Peace. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate it. Not a very good coat. We'll have to fix that. $138. I'm gonna take a 5-minute and stretch my feet and warm up my coffee. I'm doing this now for about 90 minutes, and if you don't get up and stretch, yeah, lose your feet. I'll be right back. Hey, what's up? I'm back. Sorry I took a while. My wife had surgery last month and she still can't lift things. She needed help with some laundry. Hey, what's up, Psycho? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I can take a while. And it didn't help that I bought an air fryer because I want to make, French fries a couple times a month and not take an hour. So in the oven, and that arrived. She can't pick that up either. Hello there. Oh, you do. Awesome. Took you 8 months. Jeez. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, did anybody get a chance to watch X-Men 97 yet? I did, because I got up at 5 a.m. It is up, Psycho. It is up. And it is dope. It is dope. They got to put all of their animation teams in charge of the live action stories. Just being honest, man. The animation teams should just let them come up with the stories for all their movies and let them figure out all the fights, animatics and stuff. You know, like they know what they're doing, man. The animation side knows what they're doing. Boy, sometimes composition does not go easy. There's just a shake. Make this kind of mocha, low carb shake. It's like sugar free, maybe 50 calories because it's got some malt in there, but that's it. And some almond milk, but less than 100 calories. 80. Timmy needs to need a Vernestra row 1 with the purple whip lightsaber. And that's some nerdy stuff, Timmy. That's some nerdy stuff. Hey, you know, man, if Studio Trigger animated that, it'd probably look dope, right? Execution is everything. Oh, I miss Shelby's stream. I miss Shelby. That's my bad. That's my bad. I missed him. They should have gave me a notification, but you know, YouTube does that thing where it's like, nah, we don't. Even though you asked to get notified, we're gonna make sure that doesn't happen. Marcus says, hey, this NDA stream is a great idea. Glad to see you back. Hey, thanks, Marcus. Thanks, Marcus. Cool part is, while I work, I can record what I'm doing on a separate OBS straight to my hard drive. So even if I'm working on, let's say I'm working on color pencil stuff that I don't feel like sharing for whatever reason, I could still record it on my own and then play it behind me later. Itchy, what's up, Itchy? Another day. Another. I don't have a slogan for that. Yeah. Another stream, another day. How about that? I have to work on a slogan. I don't have one. Huh? Nah, I'm working on a comic series for Todd McFarlane's Spawn thing. It's called Spawn Kills Every Spawn. It's about a little chibi looking Spawn who's like the worst Spawn. He wants to be the best Spawn. So rather than become the best Spawn, he just decides to kill all the other Spawns, become the best Spawn. Hey, thank you. But yeah, it just takes up a lot of time. But I'll continue to do this even if I'm on different projects for game series or something. You know what I mean? That's why I call it the NDA stream and not the drawing Spawn, not drawing Spawn stream, yeah. what are my thoughts on the Acolyte trailer? Look, I've been looking forward to this project. We've been covering it on the Star Wars podcast now for 2 years, and it was sort of pitched as a bad guys living in a world of good guys show, right? And how to deal with that. But the trailer looks more like, hey, the good guys just found out there's bad guys. I don't know, man. So it was an underwhelming trailer. It kind of needed to tell the story, Let me latch onto a character. Feel free to say who stars in it. I don't know, like something. So, like, if you didn't know anything about this, you wouldn't know what the hell's going on. Or you wouldn't even know that it took place 100 years before or 50 years before. So it's confusing. The marketing of this is confusing to me. So we're just going to have to wait for the actual show. But I wasn't terribly impressed with the trailer. And it's interesting to see wire work in Star Wars. Lucas himself was not a fan of it for Star Wars, but about a year and a half ago or so, I got to interview Ahmed Best on the podcast, and when he initially talked to George about Jar Jar being like a stunts kind of practical visual gag joke kind of guy, he was thinking more like Jackie Chan. And I think that Jackie Chan style of martial arts where it's, very stunt based and even though it's humorous, it's doesn't have to be, but it has a visceralness to it, right? Like, because it's physical. The wire fu stuff is like dreamlike. That's why it works well in The Matrix and Crouching Tiger, which is like a fairy tale. I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out in the actual show, because right now it mostly feels like a dream sequence. Maybe it's the way to depict the Force, as a martial art. We'll have to see, but there just wasn't enough of anything for me to tell you. I saw the Celebration trailer last summer and I was underwhelmed, and this was 80% of that trailer. That other trailer had some Nemodians and some other shots in there, but I'm all about, I don't really care about plot. I'm more of like a follow a character on a journey kind of guy. So it's like, yeah, it's great to set the tone, but kind of need to know who I'm latching on here, for. I feel. But that's just me. I just feel like they need to stop treating like every Star Wars thing like it's some big mystery to unwrap. It's like, no, you need to sell us on the adventure. Even the Phantom Menace trailer, right? Say what you want about the film, man. That trailer was dope, and it kicks things into high gear. So it's like, it needs punch, man. Needs some punch. Go look at the Rogue One trailer when it came out with the Death Star sirens blaring and stuff, Don't let that take away from your enjoyment. I never tell anyone. Be excited, dude. Feel like if it moves you, hey, that's your thing. If I loved it, I wouldn't let anyone tell me otherwise. So I wouldn't. I will be there watching it. So either way, I'm gonna watch it. So they got me there, right? There you go. Just you play that trailer like, you know, on a NFL football thing for normal people. They're not gonna know what the hell they're looking at, other than the lightsabers, you know. We gotta stop using the word rises in titles. You know? After Rise of Skywalker, can we be done with that? Since I hate it. Not a fan of that. Darkness rises. Like, yeah, okay, man. Like, the least creative tagline ever. Rises. Rise. Well, I'm going to run this to the 3-hour mark, Johnny, and then I'm going to put on another video. So we'll stop the stream and start a new one, like in like 30 minutes. I got a Wolverine color. I re-rendered the Wolverine color pencil. I'm going to do the red pencil, and then I'm going to do the color pencil tonight. But on my end, I'm just trying to work out a team pose shot. You know, they're all going into battle, and it's like, how do I fit all this stuff on one page? When am I going to use the footage of that Psylocke? The Copic? I gotta look that one up. It's in there somewhere. Was it a Copic one? Yeah, it was a Copic one, right? Marcus says, is the experience working on this comic better than the previous books that I've worked on? Yeah. It's still challenging, but my experience with those other books was just, you know, everyone fighting me every step of the way. No one's put the kibosh on anything I'm doing. I mean, gotten a couple notes from Todd here and there, but just coach stuff, not like, Rob, stop doing your thing. So yeah. Comic book wise, it's the best experience I've ever had. No problems there. It's just, you know, I'm also pushing my own limits. You know, constantly pushing my own limits. Yeah, well, Johnny says, yeah, it was the Copic. I love it. Also the digital. Yeah, I got those. I streamed those so I can download them. Yeah. I'll get those downloaded tonight, you know. Get that going tomorrow, maybe. Tomorrow or the day after. Just, you know, sometimes Premiere has like an issue and then you're like, oh great. Not today. Yeah, I'll get those downloaded. I mean, luckily everything I did in Google Hangouts back in the day is still on my YouTube. Not the best quality, but it's fine for running behind me, you know? Marcus says, years back you did a mock-up for an X-Men sprint. Are you ever going to finish that? It's a great layout. I don't know. Don't know if I will. I'm not in the mood to do a 100-character piece right now. I can tell you that much. I can tell you that much. You know, the only reason why... Like, I had a hard time figuring out how I was going to draw all that at the time. But now I definitely know how I could draw it. But I did re-look at some of those layouts the other day. Because, you know, the whole X-Men cartoon. And yeah, there's some cool stuff in there. I mean, I definitely would push the shapes more. And some of the characters, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I gave them the right focus. So, we'd have to see. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll revisit it at some point. But another giant 50-character thing, I don't know. You know, I kind of like just need my side work, my commissions, or whatever I do to just be like one pose or something, you know, like it's just tremendous amount of work. Probably take me 100 hours to finish that, you know. And it says, I remember you talking about health up a while back. Kind of like, man, whatever. And just before I turned 40, life filters had to be made. Yeah. Yep. It will change on you overnight, my friend. If you're like, oh, that's not going to affect me. No, it will. It gets everyone eventually. Everyone eventually. Marcus says, if not, then would you take on completing the dark side of this character? Maybe. Maybe. The problem with all that stuff, Marcus, is I have like a different way I would draw it now, you know? So it's like, that's the problem with starting projects and not finishing them, right? Like, they're where I left them is basically it. Now I'm like, yeah, I kind of moved away from some of that. Could I go back? Sure, but then I would just be unhappy that I'm being forced to draw in a way I probably don't want to draw. You know? Do we really want Rob to be mad? We don't. We don't. We don't want to do that. That's why when I made the decision to, refund anyone who wanted a refund on that Kickstarter, I was like, I gotta get out of this, guys. Like, I dragged it on for years, and it's like, I need to be done with this. I want to spend the next 4 years trying to finish up things that I don't want to do. It's also why I like take the Power Rangers thing, for example. Those were initially just individual poses that were commissioned. And I was like, yeah, I'll turn this into a big piece because, I'm always getting asked to draw this. It'd be fun, to do my take on the villains and stuff. But there came a point where I was like, what am I getting out of this? Like, what am I getting out of this? What is Rob getting out of this? I'm glad I did the characters because it really helped me, push stuff. But I don't know. There has to be another. There is another thing I'd like to try doing with some stuff, but at the same time, man, there's only so many hours in the day, dude. So it's like, if I want to do an art book, I can tell you right now, man, like that's gonna take me like a few months to put together to do right. I got so much art, and I have to do all the pages that I would want to. Let's say I want to kickstart a 64-page art book. But I have stretch goals to get me up to like double that. It means I have to make all 120 pages before I do the Kickstarter. Because I refuse to do a Kickstarter for anything that's not complete. So then I gotta go add 120 pages worth of sketchbook, and it's like that. I do everything, so it's like, all right, and I don't just, I'm gonna want it to be special and all that. So it's just I have to pick and choose what I'm gonna do. I appreciate it, and Lord knows I get the frustration, but it'd be even worse if, I was forcing myself to do things I didn't want to do. So sometimes I do, and because I know I need to do it, right? But I knew I needed to figure out the shapes on the Power Rangers, but it's 7 characters. Everything's like 7 characters now. Like I started drawing X-Men. Man, Rob, we need to do this one. That's 30, 50, 60 characters. If you look on Instagram, a lot of guys, they get famous for drawing the same 3 characters over and over again. It's like, oh, here's Ryu, and here's Mega Man, and here's a Wolverine, and here's Superman, or chicks and stuff. And it's just like, I gotta get out of doing 100 hours worth of effort every time I go to bat. Johnny says, yeah, just before things began opening up again, I was eating so much Popeyes and Jollibees could tell it was doing more than just making me gain weight. Eat mostly vegetarian now. Good for you. Yeah, fried foods, my friend. Cholesterol, not good. So if I'm inclined to do anything right now, it's to finish the art book when I got the free time. And then to just maybe take, sketch covers or 8x10 commissions, in between. Or use that free time to work on my own stuff. But I might just do the commissions because saving to work on my own stuff when I'm done with Spawn. Is working on a creator-owned thing while you're doing a big project. They have to be smaller bits. Smaller. You know, and I'm really appreciating my fans. Like, don't take it the wrong way, but I do got a few fans that literally will just, they want to commission me like all year long. Like, they got money and they're like, yeah, we'll just have Rob. I'm like, oh, now I'm working for 3 people. You know, and it's like, I totally appreciate it, but and I have another question to ask myself. It's like, should I be drawing spawn stuff, or should I be just sharing the spawn stuff? Should I be doing my own? I don't really know. Or do I wait until the book comes out and then people are going like, I want a spawn commission from Rob? And it's like, all right, that might be the thing to do. Some stuff. How did I draw some stuff? Like those video game tributes that I've done with like 100 things and plushies and games. I'm not doing those anymore. That's done. That is over. I did it. Arnie says, so what kind of design elements are you doing that really have you excited to learn more about lately? One of your magic powers to me is how you make chunky mechanical objects. Let me get that right. What kind of design elements are you doing that really have you excited to learn more about lately? Well, I could tell you in the book, I put a lot of effort into the backgrounds, buildings, and working, let's just say working skulls into buildings, you know, bending the perspective, you know, and then that's been a big deal. Big deal. Big deal. A lot of warped perspective, like but not so warped it's like, you know, unreadable. Just like how to like get good establishing shots, but bending things. And, oh yeah. There's some pretty big vistas here and there. And then Chibi's cape. Worked a lot on how to get different cape shapes and cowl shapes aren't typical for Spawn. You know, like they're there, you'll know it, but I'm also adding my own bits, you know. And the chains, like I really wanted dynamic and different shaped chains. So a lot of the chains these days are just being done with brushes, or they're just, you know, like they're not moving, stretching them, making sure they're just not the same shapes. And character acting, a lot of character acting, a lot of action, reaction. And then every time I draw like a legacy character, they're definitely like my own. You know, they fit in the mold, but they're definitely my own take on that. You know, like I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna redraw this Capullo pose or this McFarlane pose. Like, no, none of that. And it says, I realized that I fell in love with the Spawn cape so much, I draw fabric like I'm folding paper instead of cloth. Fortunately, my brush inking hides that a bit, but something I want to unlearn. Yeah, I mean, look, it has its own thing, you know. Sometimes with certain characters, it's a straight cape. Sometimes it's, you know, the zigzag triangle thing. I've tried to add... You can see it in some of the images that have been released. I'll have it like in panels. I'll have it like doing things, like, because it's alive, like exploring and looking at stuff and touching different things, and you know, trying out. It's a lot of like nonverbal communication with that. And then giving each spawn its own muscle weight. So Gunslinger has a certain muscle weight, and Medieval Spawn has a certain muscle weight, and you know, regular heroic spawn, like anytime a legacy character is making sure they have their own real shape design. Johnny says, I hope your work on this comic results in toys. I think anytime you mention working with Todd, everyone's like, I hope you get toys, you know? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure everyone wants that, right? But yeah, that would be dope, but you know, all I can do, man, is if it sells, if the book sells, you know, anything's possible. If the book doesn't sell, you know, then nothing happened. That's why I don't want to wait till, like, you know, a month before it comes out to come and try and like promote somehow, like with a couple images. Like, no, man, I'm here every day working on it. You guys are gonna hang out with me, you know, all the way through here. And had I figured this whole stupid idea out a year ago, I would have been streaming the whole time. Such is life. Alrighty, we're at the 3-hour mark now. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this stream. I'm gonna take a 5-10 minute, and then I'm gonna come back on with a new stream, and we're gonna have some Wolverine drawing going on. We're gonna do Wolverine with ink and red pencil, and then later tonight we'll do Wolverine with color pencil again. And I'll probably replay the color pencil again tomorrow in case you guys all miss it. So don't worry about that. But hey everyone, if you're on YouTube, please leave a comment or a like, because that tickles the algos and helps them share my video. Without sharing the videos, then this is all for nothing. No. All right. I'll be back on in a few, guys, really quickly here. All right. Give me a minute. Thanks. See you there, Johnny. Peace.